Comparing this today's concluding rally to what you know, what gives you hope?
The energy that he's brought back to the party. I mean, of course, when you've been in office for 8 years, there's always some level of apathy. But again, from your own interview with Dr. Bawumia, he was someone who did not insert himself into the primaries. Anytime MPP has good parliamentary primaries, we are likely to win.
What is good parliamentary primaries?
When the friction is reduced, when there's not much interference by the top tickets, because the party...
When they don't insist on this candidate must be here, that candidate must be here.
That's right.
Or it was left.
I think he did that very well. And he said it. I mean, it was a very tough presidential primary, and we were all part of it. After that, he rallied everybody together. And he did so very well, visiting each and every one of us.
Did he come to your house?
Yes. I mean, he spoke to me. We discussed a lot. He went to everybody. It's completely the reverse of what we are used to, because normally we, the defeated ones, we line up and go to, say, Nima or Professor Dubois' house to go and congratulate him. But Bawumia, very humble, good interpersonal skills. He was able to win over much everybody. So all the 9 candidates playing different roles to support his campaign. And so he's one leader who has been able to weld this party together. He's like a glue for the New Patriotic Party, and it's good for us. Of course, there were a few touchy areas in the parliamentary primaries. You have to expect that. That's why 1 or 2 independents here and there. But by and large, it went off very well. And when it happens that way, we are confident that we are winning the parliamentary majority. But I marvel at the way he's run the campaign, the energy he's given to it, the vitality, the strength. And then the style, the detail, what he called retail campaigning. As you said, meeting the youth when the youth connects, going to the markets, bumping into people's homes, surprising them. And if you're in a village and the vice president runs into you and has a discussion with you, that must be a wonderful experience. And you see all those pictures with those school children, he's endeared himself to the Ghanaian people. And it comes naturally. I mean, you look at his background, very empathetic character. He's someone who understands people, who cares for people, who shares people and loves people. And that is him. And that's what attracts me to him so much, because our values really align. He's a very selfless man, not given to materialism, and he's focused on what he's doing. Very determined person, because we were doing 3 constituencies, sometimes 4 constituencies in a day. And he's picking about 5-6 times. Sometimes his voice is gone. His vocal cords are strained, but by the next morning...
Where did you guys sleep? When you made some of your rallies at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., what happens?
You sleep where you have to sleep. I mean, you plan.
So you know that you'll be here at 1 a.m.? Sometimes you don't know. You just...
No, the timing you will never know. But most of the time when we're doing constituency campaigns, you end up very late. Because people don't get energized in the morning.
Yeah.
So you get off around 10:30, 11. By the time you finish one constituency, it's about 2. You go to the second constituency.
You're already at 7.
At 7. And so sometimes you are starting a constituency at 9. Yeah, so it happens that way. But it's always better in the night. It's cooler.
You have the attention.
You have the attention of the people. You have more participation because the sun is not really beating them up, But he went about it in such a marvelous way. And he delivered a message that touched various segments of society. So wherever he met people, whether they were farmers or Okada riders or nurses or teachers, chiefs, Muslims, Christians, everybody, he had something in there for them. All segments of society. And I think that has worked very well. The middle class believe that. They can look at his message, sometimes analyze it, agree with some, disagree with some, but with his opponent, you can hardly identify any strand of messaging.
He has 24-hour economy.
Well, which he couldn't explain to the BBC yesterday.
He couldn't? I've heard about the BBC. What did he say?
You haven't seen the interview?
I've heard about it.
But anyway, I think
But he was able to explain to a radio station.
There's a big sea of difference in the way Bawumia has run his campaign. And as they say now, the 3 C's. He is complaining,
Akufo-Addo is commissioning.
It's commissioning.
Bawumia is campaigning.
It's campaigning. So everybody's seeing the hard. I mean, I believe the work ethic. He's an example for Ghanaians, for everyone. I think every young person should look at Dr. Bawumia's lifestyle. The work ethic, is important. And that's what is going to drive this country to a new level. He's determined to work. He's a hard worker. He doesn't get tired and he's determined. And I think it energizes the party people. And now that we have our party base enthusiastic and fired up, most likely we win because we have the numbers.
That's coming to that question. And the pollster came here last Tuesday. He was telling me that when they conducted polls in November in Ashanti region,
That's right.
they found that only 50% of Ashanti people wanted to turn up to vote.
Yes.
The last polls they did is crossing 70.
That's right.
And it's attributable to the work that people like you went back to Ashanti to do.
Yeah,
What is the latest? You are coming from there. When were you there?
I spent the last week there to also just...
So what is the latest? How are the Ashanti people responding?
I think they are responding well to the messaging, of course. You see, it's only natural that because they give us the biggest vote, some people think that
you demand
they
a
should
lot.
have a commensurate
Development
That's right.
quotient.
But when you're running a country, then Dr. Bawumia always talks about broad-based development, equitable development. I quite remember with President Kufuor when he was doing the whole roads, and I was taking a look at him and say, "You're not getting much of a vote. We need to go and do the roads," where he says, "Kwabena, you are a president, you are a father for all. You are a father for all parts of our country." And even when I told Dr. Bawumia that, look, I think 111 hospitals was spreading ourselves too thin.
The Agenda 111.
That's right. He believes, and I believe, that this country, development should be equitable.
Across.
You go to parts of the country, Paul, and you see a Ghanaian, your brother, and some of them don't even have a share.
But a lot of that has changed,
Yes, yes. So
Kenya is piping. They don't have full places. They have mobile money interoperability.
Yeah.
They don't need to come to Accra. There's a lot of development that's gone across the country. Very different from, if you look at your campaign of 96, the things you saw, you go back to some of those places since 2017.
I mean, quite recently, when we were traveling from Ketekrachi, and I know Ketekrachi even in 2020.
Yes.
Yes. And now the town roads are nicely paved. You drive through Borai, Chindiri, ride through Pandai, Wulensi, Bimbila, Chamba. It's all tarred, beautiful road. And I quite remember in 1998 traveling with then candidate Akufo-Addo. It was hell from Salaga to Pao. It was hell, and some of the places you get there and the car gets there, everybody runs away because they haven't seen a car for maybe a year or so. And these are all Ghanaians, our brothers and sisters. So I think it's important the policy of ensuring that the distribution of the national cake is equitable is a good policy. And he believes in having development where no one is left out.